Okay, thanks.
All right, so I have pushed stream live. Now I'm gonna need you to make me co-host so that I can moderate the class.
Okay, done.
Thanks. I will be sure to start the recording once we hit the clock.
Okay, no worries. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right, welcome back, Josephina. Welcome back, Wanda, Gloria.
Hey there.
There,
How are
Carol.
you?
There you are again.
And I will see you at 2 a.m. my time too.
Oh my goodness.
Die hard.
Hardcore is what we say. Hardcore. All right. Okay. Mina, welcome from the UK. Okay, lovely. Jody, welcome back too. And Ellen and Pam and Ken. And do I say mate? I'm not sure about that. I'm sorry. All right.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. And Eileen is coming in now. Oh, everyone's coming in so quickly. All right, so welcome to everyone as you come on in to class today. So while we're waiting for people to come in, does anyone have any comments you want to pop in the chat box or share where you are? So I noticed we've got one from the UK. We tend to have most people from the US. Maybe we've got some people from India or somewhere. We're hoping one day to get some people from Australia. I haven't seen anyone yet, but hopefully they will be coming on board soon. So if you are from Australia, give us a shout out. Or is it just me on my own? All right, Rochelle, welcome back. And Rosa and Ben and, oh, my eyes, I need my glasses. Puni. Okay, I'm sorry again if I've got those wrong. All right, so lovely to see you, whether it's in the actual with your cameras on or with a picture or without your cameras on, that's fine. So excellent to have you here in class today. I'm just having a look at the chat quickly. So we've got some chat notes there from Michael, who is our technical assistant. He is here to help you out with any technical issues that may come about during the course of the class. So if that is the case, please type those into the chat box and he'll be able to help you out with those. We still have a few people coming on in. So welcome Annie, Carol and Alma and Laura and Kate. Boy, okay, right. So while we're waiting for all of those, while all of that's happening, let me just share my slides with you. A little bit of housekeeping to start off with. This is just to make sure that you've chosen the correct class. You've come on in. This one's called Free Your Feet. And for those of you who are regulars, yes, I'm getting those photos changed so they're more appropriate to the actual class. We're getting there. We are absolutely getting there. So this class is all about doing simple movements for our feet. So it'll be pretty much everything of the foot. So like everything, if we're doing too much of a particular exercise, can you just maybe stop, rest, check out how you're feeling and join us again when you're ready, or maybe just watch the rest of the session and sort of file it away and do some things later on. Or if it doesn't feel good, don't do it at all. So that's the thing. You are the boss of your body. So you know what feels right for you in each and every moment that you're doing it. I don't. I'm here for suggestions. All right. A little bit about me for those of you who don't know me, you haven't been to my classes before. This is me here. I'm Natalie, and I am based in Melbourne, Australia. I've been teaching some form of movement since 2001, and I'm really interested in why and how the body works, all the ways. And I've spent the last 20 years or so doing lots of extra study and training on different functions and movements of the body. And I am here to share those learnings with you. Right, so the whole purpose here is not just to share them with you, but to help you to move and live independently throughout the entire life. And I try not to take myself too seriously, so we might have a bit of a laugh along the way at things I do or I don't do, or stumble over my words as we go. Alrighty, so extra housekeeping as far as Get Set Up are concerned, right? We do learn from each other. So ideally, you'd have your camera turned on so we can see each other. You can maybe notice what somebody else is doing if they're doing a modification from something that I might be showing you, or you could just sort of smile or wave at each other if that helps you to feel connected. If you are not comfortable with your camera on, that is also okay. So you're there to learn, so do what's best for you. If you enjoy the class and you'd like to do it again, you're more than welcome to request a recording, and all you need to do is email help@getsetup.io, and that's if you have registered for the class and you're attending live. Now, this class is live streaming as well, so that's excellent that you're here watching us that way, but the best way to participate is to actually join and register for the class, and that way you're able to interact and ask questions if you have them as we go. Now, Get Set Up are not paid to promote any specific product, so I will not be selling anything to you here, but we are going to be using a couple of props. I'll show you those in a moment as soon as I'm finished with my slides here. Last one is, please check with your doctor if you have any issues that might affect any movements that we are doing, right? If you are new to exercise, it's always a good idea to check with your doctor. I am an exercise professional, not a medical professional, so I can only give you advice related to moving your body and not what's actually going on inside. So it might be a physical therapist or something else, that it's someone else that's giving you some advice contrary to what I'm saying. So please take that advice. That's it for my slides right now. I'm going to put myself on a bigger screen just so you can see me a little bit better. Unfortunately, I don't have a cameraman here showing my feet, so they will be a little bit in the distance. I was playing around with my camera before class and couldn't quite work out how to do it without cutting off my head and having the rest of my body. But some tools that we'll be using. We will be using a small ball. I've got this rubber ball, but you could use a tennis ball, a dog toy ball if you have a dog or a cat or something. It wants to be soft, preferably soft, not something like a lacrosse ball tends to be quite hard, but if that's all you have, that will be fine. If you don't have a ball in your house of any description, I've noticed that you can get a sock. So I've got these little fleecy slippers. You can bunch them up, roll them up into some sort of a little bunch and use that instead. Right? Anything that you've got handy nearby that you can use to stand on, to what we call to deform your foot to make it into a different shape. We'll be using that for quite a lot of the class today. I'm also using what we call a half dome, and we don't expect you to have one of those lying around at home, right? It's just a half a foam roller. It's just a rounded shape. So to make one of those, all you need to do is get a towel. I've got a little fleece blanket here, roll it up into a little roll shape, and we'll use that for some stretching. On that note, I'm going to come up to stand on my mat here. You might want a mat. You can use the floor. All of the things that we're doing can be done. If it's not okay, I just need to move my cursor, can be done seated on a chair, right? For those of you who are having issues with standing. Some of them might involve a little bit of balance as well. So it might be better for you to situate yourself near a wall. I've just got a curtain here, right? Some sort of wall that you can hold on to, maybe even hold on to a broomstick or anything that helps you with balance, because there'll be a little bit of time on one foot and the other foot will be on the ball or something similar. So let's get started. We are going to start standing. And like I said, if it's not an option, sit down. We're just going to do the same thing with our feet. But first off, we want to just come into a position where your feet are about what we call hip width apart. You want to find the bones in the front of your pelvis here and your feet pretty much directly under those. And I always aim to have my feet facing straight. You may notice when you see other people how they're standing, it might be like this or 1 foot out and 1 foot in or whatever. We're going to ideally look for the feet facing straight ahead position. And that the reason for that is because when your knees bend, they bend a little bit easier, right? Straight forward and up again. Right? There's nothing wrong with them. They go all the ways, right? But it's a little bit nicer on the joints to go that way. Now, if it's too hard to get your feet directly straight, that's fine. Maybe over time, if they turned out a little bit, they can get straighter. All right, so that's what we're looking for. You're always just going to find the position to the best of your abilities. Once you have your feet straight or however they are, think about being up nice and tall and then take a moment to just feel what it's like, the feedback that you're getting from the bottom of your feet. Notice how your weight is, or where is it? Do you feel like your weight is more forward on your toes? Do your toes have to grip on the floor to hold you upright? Or is there more pressure down the front of the foot? Right? Maybe you feel like more even, like you're right in the middle of the foot. Or maybe you feel like your weight's way back on the heels and the front of your feet are really light. Now, it could be different on the left foot and the right foot. You might be more on one side of each foot. It could be the little toe side of the right foot and the big toe side of the left foot, or the other way around, or on both edges, outside or inside. There's no right or wrong ways here, but what we're aiming to do is maybe get a little bit of a sense of being on a tripod. So you have weight on your heel, you also have weight by the big toe, just underneath the big toe, and the little toe for both feet. So let's just have a shift of weight. Think upright, then take a lean forward, like you're becoming a leaning therapeut, and then take a lean back, like you're going to fall over backwards. Whoops, and I might. And do that a couple of times, forward and back and forward and back. And now let's find that tripod. So the weight's on your heels. Lift all 10 of your toes up. Lift them right up. See if you can spread them on out. That will naturally shift your weight back onto your heels. I didn't say that you'd need to do this with bare feet, did I? Sorry, right at the start, I haven't said that at all, right? Or socks if you really don't like your feet. Lift all 10 toes, spread them out, and then lower them back down to the mat. Right, so we've got weight back on our heels and then press down through the balls of your feet, right? Underneath the big toe and underneath the little toe. And then see what it feels like in that position. Right? Are you upright? Do you find it hard to balance? Do you feel like you're going to fall over backwards or forwards or whatever? Right? Just see. Right? Maybe you can wiggle all 10 toes around once you're in that position. And then from there, what we're going to do is have a little play, a little bit of movement through one of our feet. So step one foot forward. This is for a bit of balance. Your other foot back. Now, see if you can lift the front of your foot up so you just have your heel on the floor. And then from there, can you turn onto the outside edge of your foot and try to roll a little bit through the outside edge of your foot? So I'm shifting my weight forward. Then I'm going to come onto my toes. And then I'm going to go back to the outside edge, the little toe side of my foot. and then roll my weight back again. I'm just going to roll forward, around, and we're going to do something similar on the ball. So if this is unsteady, this is no good. I'm just having a little play here and then back and around. So now I'm going the inside edge, the big toe side of my foot, forward, around, and back again. And just having a play with shifting maybe from this side, so from the heel, outside, around, onto my toes, onto the inside, and like that. Now, that's the start. You could just simply move your weight forward, move your weight back. I'm going to shift back a little bit, come onto my toes, and then just try to roll around on my toes and do a circular motion like that. A little play here. You're doing what is okay. This can be really painful, so let's just be gentle. That's a little bit here. Around one more time. And then just pause. I don't want to do too much here because we'll be spending quite a bit of time on the ball in a moment. All right, and let's try that on the other foot. So let's look forward, come up onto your heel, roll, shift your weight to the outside edge, maybe onto the toes a little bit, come around and then go back. All right, I'm just transferring weight as I'm rolling my foot over to the side a little bit. And back again. I'm going to try and do that more on the inside of my foot. So that's really awkward for me. And then back. And again, forward. And back. And then I'm just going to shift back and come up onto my toes and do a circular kind of motion around through my foot like this. Notice when you're doing this, what are you doing with your hands at the same time? Mine are all over the place. Tensing and whatnot. So do that. Okay. All right, coming back to feeling my feet. And then from there, what I'm going to try and do is roll onto both outside edges of my foot. So the big toe side is lifting up off the floor. I'm going onto the little toe side of my foot. Now, if that's too much, just do it on the one foot. And then come on back to center. And then I'm going to try and roll onto the inside edge. So the little toe side of my foot comes up and come back again. And over to the little toe side, big toe side of the foot comes up. And then come on back down. And other way. And come on back down. Now, front and back. I'm going to lift my heels on up. And I was trying to lower them down slowly, but I dropped down. Then I'm going to try and lift my toes up and my front of my foot up and lower down. Once again, my heels are going to lift and lower and toes and lower. Right, one more time like that. Heels and toes. All right. And then I'm going to come back, pause a moment with both feet down flat on the mat. And then I'll move a little bit through my ankles. So what I'm going to do, try and stay upright, bend my knees and just sort of keep my heels on the floor. I'm going to bend down as far as I can with my heels still on the floor. And I'm going to straighten again. All right, so I'm letting my knees come forward. I'm trying to be upright in my body and my heels stay down. My toes are down too. And come back up again. I'm going to do a couple more of those. Bend and straighten. Two and straighten. So I'm seeing what kind of movement I have in my ankles now. Right? Your ankles are attached to your feet. Now, next time I bend, I'm going to stay down there. Right? And what I'm going to try and do with my knees bent like this, my ankles are bent, I'm going to try and do a little walk around. Right? This feels odd. It's hard work in your legs. So have a little walk around. Right? So if you see that you won't be able to walk around, you can keep maybe bending your knees, seeing if you can shift your weight forward on your seat. My mat is crumpling up a little more of a walk around. This is why I don't generally use a mat because it crumples all up and I keep having to move it. All right. Ugh. Feel like a little bit of a duck. And then come on up to standing. All right. A little bit of work on the ankles. Now, I've been doing this a lot in this class lately. We're going to try and move or walk the other way on our feet. So we're going to try and lift our heels. Now, it doesn't have to be as high as you can, maybe just a little bit off the floor, and try to walk around on your toes. How does that feel? Now, if you've spent for life walking around in high heels, this might be easy for you. If you haven't, right, it might be difficult to balance. Okay, and then lower your feet back down again. That's on your toes. We're going to try that on your heels, so your toes lift up. Now, I find this very difficult. Walk around on your heels. You could just sort of try and balance in one spot. Walk around. Try not to do it too long. I don't have too big a space here. And then come on back. Oh, I can feel that right in the front of my shins. Right, now outside edges of your feet. So roll on to the little toe side of your feet. See if you can walk around on those. Just realize if you're on a chair, you won't be able to do this, but you can play around with just the different edges of your feet. So I apologize for that if you're sitting. And come on back. And then finally, we've got the inside edges of your feet, so the big toe side. Walk around. Again, this for me is super awkward. My legs do not like this. I feel really tight in the sort of front outside of my shins. All right. And then I'm going to just come back to standing normally and just see, what does it feel like now? All right, we're going to have a bit of a stretch. So this is where I'm using my half dome. So you can either use something else rolled out. You can roll up your mat if you have a mat. Roll that up. Anything you use, if you have like a block or even a ball. I'm just looking around my room. What I have, I've got some little hand weights. Just something that you can raise the front of your foot up a little bit higher. It's called the calf stretch. So we're going to be standing on upright with straight legs. One foot, you're going to bring your toes onto your dome, your rolled up mat, whatever you have. That's your stretching leg, and that leg is straight. Right, we're looking for a stretch in our calves, right, which is sort of the bottom back of the leg here. That leg remains straight. If you're not feeling something there, your other foot's going to step forward until you do feel a stretch sensation, right? And sometimes we don't feel anything, and that's okay. So you're just going to stay, and we want to hold it for around about a minute. Right, see, I'm still upright with my body. There's a tendency maybe to want to lean forward or shift back or something else that could be happening. So I'm remaining upright. This leg is straight. And all I'm going to do is hold and breathe. Right, so the purpose of this one, right, a lot of our shoes have heels in them. So the heel is lifted. This is taking our foot into the opposite position where the front of the foot is lifted up high. So we're sort of countering the heel lift, taking our leg in the other position for a sense of stretch. Right. That's probably a minute already by now. So I'm going to switch over legs. I'm going to do the other side, my other foot. So once again, I'm upright, my leg's straight. I step the top of my foot up onto my dome. So whatever it is that you have, your heel is down on the floor. That leg remains straight. Your other foot can step further forward until you feel something. My legs are pretty much in line. Right, you could be way back here. You could be way out here somewhere. I see how I can't stand up straight when my foot comes way forward or backwards. Right. So for here for me, it's just right. I'm just going to hold it again around about a minute or so and notice what's happening in my legs. Now, I'm doing this one in a lot of our classes, so because I'm pretty much doing it every day, I'm feeling maybe not as much sensation as I used to. I should, don't like that word, right? Be able to step a lot further forward, but not at this particular point in time. All right, so another 10 seconds or so, I will hold this one. This is a good one to revisit throughout the day. You can use anything if you're standing outside, use a curb. I find that some of our trees here are dropping some really nice little branches that are really nice and curved shape. When I'm out and about with my dog, I can have a quick stretch. All right, that was more than those 10 seconds. From there, I'm going to do one called the top of the foot stretch. Now, we've already kind of touched on it, doing the circles around with our feet, but now a little bit more focused. So one foot is going to be staying still on the mat. Your other foot's going to, you want to curl your toes under. You might want to start with your foot right next to you, right? Or you could take your foot back behind you. Again, your toes are curled under now. And now you want to shift some weight on top of your foot. Now, if you're not used to this, this can be very, very painful when we first start doing it. You might want to take a seat and take more weight off your foot and attempt it this way. Right. That's all new to you. If it's not new to you and you're used to being more on your toes or with your toes curled under, you could take your foot further back and shift more of your weight onto the top of your foot. This is a very, very individual one. This used to be quite painful for me because I'm doing this a lot. I can put quite a lot of my body weight onto the top of my foot. All right, you might not want to do that too long when you first start doing it. So take that foot back and we'll switch feet. All right, so your other foot, going to curl your toes. Again, you experiment here. You can be really light on your toes. You could take a bit more weight, or you could step back further and shift your weight back onto the top of your foot. All right, it's just called top of the foot stretch. Holding, and if it gets too much, get out of there earlier. You need to do what's right for your body in the moment. All right, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to have a little wiggle of my toes. And then I'm going to see if I can lift all 10 toes. I'm going to spread them on out. And then I'm going to try and lower them back down to the mat. And I want to see if I can create some space in between my toes. So have a look down at your feet and see, is there space in between your toes, or are your toes all scrunched up together? Or sometimes, right, they cross over. Your big toe in particular, I've seen that quite often, and that was kind of the case with my feet, is the big toe goes across the other toes. It pulls on over. And the reason for that is more than likely the shoes that we've spent our lives in. All right. Now, with your weight more back on your heels, can you just lift your big toes with your other 8 toes down on the floor? Are you able to do that? Can you lift them independently? And see, I'm like moving my fingers too. Right? And then lower your big toes back down. Keep your big toes down and see if you can lift your other 8 toes up off the mat. The big toes are pressing down into the mat and the other ones are lifted. Is that possible? And lower them back down again. Now let's try the big toe again. Just the big toes, each foot, lift them on up. Your other ones are touching the mat still. And lower. And then the big toes stay down, your other toes lift on up. Can you separate them? Mine are kind of curled under a little bit, just in case it's a bit far in the camera, but that's how they are. And lower down. Now I'm going to try a little more individually. Can you lift your big toes? Can you keep them lifted? Then the second, right, then the third, then the fourth, and then the little toes. So all 10 toes are lifted. And then can you replace, start with your pinky toe, your little toe, then the fourth, the third, the second, and then the big toe. try that again. I'm just going to come in. I think there might be some questions. All right, so try your big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and little toe. And then lower down the little toe, the fourth, the third, the second, and the big toe. All right, so there is a question. Ken has asked, do I recommend toe spaces? And if so, for how long? Yes, I do. I think toe spaces are a really good thing. How long really depends on how your feet are feeling, right? It might be okay to pop them into your toes while you're watching TV, right? But if it starts to get painful, take them out. But they can help separate your toes and then bring your toes back to what we call like a more natural alignment. So absolutely. You can even get special toe socks. They're called happy feet. It's not just the normal toe socks, but they've got bigger, what are they? Bits of material that curl up and go in between your toes to help your toes spread out. But yeah, absolutely. It's a really good idea, Ken. Try those spaces. Okay, let's now go to the ball. So pick up your ball, well, put it on your mat. Or, like I said, anything else that you have, right? If it's something really hard, you might want to put some other cloth or something over the top of it. But what we're going to do is just step one foot onto your ball and then put as much weight as you can onto that foot, right? How does that feel? I can pretty much take my other foot off the floor and I'm okay with that. And then we're going to get off it and then we're going to move the position of the ball and then we're going to step on it again. So now I'm stepping on a different part of my foot and then off. Right, I'm going to move it again and step on. So what I'm doing here is just simply putting as much weight as I can on a part of my foot, taking the weight off, moving the ball to a different position, stepping on again, and then stepping off. Right, you might not be able to put your entire body weight on that ball. You might have to go a little bit more lightly on top of it. Right, but our aim here, what we're doing is we're trying to deform the foot. We're trying to give the foot texture, right, to get all of the joints, the bones, right, the tissues moving. Have a look at your hands, right? You have a quarter of your bones, or the number of bones in your feet, right, and also in your hands. There's lots of bones in there, not 26, 27, depending on how many. Some of us have, right, a couple of extra bones, right, and they all move. And the further towards your toes that you get, the smaller the bones tend to be. Right? So they're designed to move around. They're designed to be on rough terrain and on different texture. And we spend our lives on hard, flat surfaces, encased in shoes. Right? So we lose the ability to get this type of movement into the foot, which is why we're doing this exercise or this movement. And my ball's starting to turn into a bit of a pancake. I really need to start using a different one. These rubber ones, the more you use them, the softer and flatter they get. So this is our purpose, right? Moving the foot, moving the bones, moving the joints, moving the tissues, waking up our feet. Right. So
Natalie, we got a question. Do you recommend toe spacers to increase toe width? If
Yeah.
so, keep them in for how long?
I've already got that one, Michael.
Oh, my bad. I read that just now.
That's okay. That's okay. But thank you for
No worries.
interrupting the question. No problems. All right. But if in case you didn't hear that or anyone else there, yes, I do. Yeah, good idea to try and give your toes that space that they were designed to have. Yeah. All right. Now, once we've had a bit of a play there, all the different ways, I'm going to let my ball come back to ball shape. I'm going to maneuver the ball so it's underneath my big toe with my heel down on the floor. Now my heel's on the floor to help me balance a little bit. I'm going to put some weight on the ball again, and now I'm going to try and roll Whoops, there we go. That can slide out. Roll from side to side, from the big toe side to the little toe side of my foot, and putting pressure down onto the ball and rolling from side to side. So my foot's turning the outside edge, the inside edge. As I'm doing it, I'm pushing my foot forward a little bit so the ball is making its way towards my heel. Also leaving bits of my ball on my mat. This ball's going to get smaller as I go. Right, so I'm rolling. Yeah, because this is so soft now, it's getting harder and harder to maneuver. And you'll probably find that at first too. When you start doing these movements, it's kind of hard to maneuver that ball underneath your foot. Over time, your body works out how to do it. Right? It gets used to the movement and it gets a bit more efficient at doing this movement. Right, so I'm sort of rolling from my toes towards my heel and then back towards my toes again. Just a bit from side to side, just in a way that I can maneuver it right now. All right, so I've done quite a bit of that from side to side. Now, the next movement is going to be the length of my foot. So I'm going to start, I'm just moving back a little bit, from underneath the big toe. Now my heel is lifted. I'm going to put pressure down and roll from my big toe all the way through to my heel, and then bring it back and roll again. Now, if you don't have a ball, right, if you are working on something that's not moving, like maybe you've balled up sock or something, just keep standing on it and get back off it again, right? Just keep finding different positions, right? That's an excellent activity. It stands alone on its own. You could spend a whole hour just stepping on a ball, a stone, whatever, getting your foot moving around all the ways. All right, so that is rolling the length of your foot. Now just go randomly, just all over the place. You can see my mat is just bunching up as I go. Right? All right, a little bit of extra random movement. Okay, I'm going to fix my mat up while you continue. All right, that's it. Step off the ball. Compare your feet. Right, so for me, always, every time I do this, the foot that I have just rolled on feels more sort of spacious, more open, more connected down into the mat. Right, my other one feels different, and not just my foot, it's my entire leg, right? I feel this greater connection. We're going to do the other foot. Okay, you don't want to just do one, let's do them both. So back to standing on the ball, taking the weight off. Once again, standing on and off. So remember, now it might be different on this foot. You might feel very different sensations on your other foot. It could be painful, right? There are times when I step on the ball, particularly if I haven't done this for a while. Right now I'm doing a lot of foot classes. I'm getting more less sensitized, I should say, to the movements, right? My feet are starting to wake up more. They can tolerate a lot more than they used to. But if it's been a while in between foot exercises for me, they can be quite sensitive in places. So I just need to back off a little bit. Maybe you're not stepping directly onto that sensitive spot. Maybe you're just sort of skirting around it. Even if you do that, you're still going to have a good effect. What I didn't mention on the other foot was that you want to get into your heel as well, right? Make sure you're stepping on your heel or your heel on the ball, right? Because we kind of forget about our heels unless we've got pain. Then we're quite aware of them. We can kind of lose the fat padding from underneath the heel as we get older. And I also like to mention in this class that as we do get older, right, we lose the sensitivity from underneath our feet, right? That starts to disappear. We've got like hundreds of thousands of well, maybe not hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of sensory nerves underneath our feet. And as we get older, they start to disappear, right? So we don't have as many. We still have them, but that means that we're getting less feedback from the surfaces that we're walking on, and it becomes more difficult to move to balance. And we tend to put ourselves into thicker, more supportive shoes, when it might be a good idea to go completely the other way and have less support to be able to feel what's going on more underneath our feet. I might save that for another lecture. All right, let's move on to the next one, side to side, with your heel on the floor, the ball underneath the big toe, put some weight on there, and then roll one side to the other. All right, inside, outside. Create a mountain in your mat as you're doing this, right? Roll. And as I'm going, big toe side to little toe side, my foot's just turning one way then the other, and I'm sort of pushing my foot forward to maneuver the ball towards my heel. And then back. Oops. Yeah, no, your ball might go shooting across the floor. Just get it back. Bring it back when you can. All right. Now, the length of your foot. So lift your whole foot up off the floor, put the big toe on the ball, roll all the way towards your heel. Bring it back, second toe, and your third. Fourth, big toe, couple of extra passes along the ball, or along the foot even. Oh. Okay, and then random moves, just all over the place, wherever. It can be fast, it can be slow. Anyway, it works. And then release. Step off the ball. Compare your feet. Hopefully they're feeling relatively even. Nothing ever feels exactly the same. Maybe they're more connected. Maybe they're more spread. Have a look at your toes again. Lift them all up. Spread them out. Roll them down so you get some more space now. All right. So let me move my mat again. Okay. We're going to do some more heel raises, right? We walked around on our toes before. Let's see, right? Now that we've connected with our feet a little bit more, can we lift both of our heels and then slowly lower them back down? Good, right, lift. Right, and lower. Right, last time I did this, I was just sort of dropping down because I didn't really have any balance as I was doing it. But now that I've kind of woken my feet up some more, I feel like I have a lot more control. Right, lift and lower and lift. Oops. And I'm going to do 2 more of those. And the last one. And down. Now we're going to come on back to the dome or the towel or whatever it is you have and revisit that calf stretch. We're going to have a little play around with it this time. So we're going to start with our feet straight, right, our legs straight. Get your foot on the dome, your heel down on the floor. Right, start there, and then maybe, if it's possible, maybe just sort of like back it off a little bit, turn your foot out on a different angle, right, and then just take a little bit of weight onto the foot there, onto your whole leg. Right, so my foot started pointing forward. Now I've just turned it off to the side a little bit. I'm going to come back and I'm going to turn it a different way. I'm still facing forward. which I don't think I was on the other one. Sorry, when I did the first one. And I'm just going to back it off. And I'm just trying moving my foot. Maybe if I turn to face you, you can see the difference. All right, so forward and then off. I'm going to turn my foot a little bit. I'm still going to face forward and just shift my weight on so I feel a bit of a stretch in my calf again. Back it off. Turn it a different way. Yeah. And back it off. And then I'll just switch legs. So same thing on the other foot. Oh, I can really feel that. Really through my calf, right? So first my foot is straight, my leg is straight. I'm keeping my leg straight. I'm just shifting my weight forward a little bit more onto that foot and taking it off. I'm going to turn my foot a little bit in a different direction, still facing forward. Weight here. And then back, and I'm turning my foot in a different angle. Boy, where does the time go? This class has gone really quickly. Again, right, one more different angle. I'll have to come back and do some more next week. I've got a whole list of exercises sitting here in front of me that I was going to go through, and I'm like, there's not going to be time for that. That's okay. Often better doing fewer things and doing them well. All right, let's move that off the way. Now, that was a calf stretch. Remember when we did the top of the foot stretch? I'm going to say facing you, on one foot, the other foot comes back, and then can you see that? Going into a little bit of shade. So hopefully you get an idea. I've got my toes curled under, right, like this. And when I'm looking at myself, I can't see my heel, right? If you were looking at yourself in a mirror, or if you can see yourself on your screen, you can't see your heel. The aim is to now roll your heel. So now we're turning our foot, right, to the little toe side of the foot, and then the big toe side. Now I need a cameraman to zoom in on me, right? So maybe more better from this way. I'm rolling, and you can barely see it, onto the big side. So my heel's rolling across my body, and then my heel is rolling away. Oh, something went click, click, click in my foot there, in my toes when I go onto the little toe side of my foot. It's clicking quite a lot, maybe from a little bit of an angle, right? Foot one way, foot the other way. Yeah, there's a lot of movement of the bones in my foot when I go. Oh, it's going crack, crack, crack. Okay. I wonder what yours are doing. All right, that's enough on that foot. That's my left foot. I'm going to do my right foot. Oops, try and curl my right toes under. And then again, roll one side of my foot. And then the other side of my foot. Now, again, be careful. If you're not used to this top of the foot stretch, this can be really painful. So you're just going to do what you can do. That one way. And the other way. Have a little move around. Okay, come on back off, give them another wiggle. Now we're going to come back to the ball. And now instead of having it underneath the entire foot, remember we tried to lift our big toes before. We're going to use the ball to help us do that. Can we maneuver the ball underneath a big toe? Your big toe. It'll kind of, you'll lift your second toe, maybe your third toe as well. But we want to be in this position where your big toe is lifted up on top of the ball. A lot of the rest of your foot is on the floor. Maybe I'll turn to the side here. My mat mound. All right. So I'm going to step my other foot back a little bit. And all I'm going to do is bend my front knee and transfer my weight onto my front foot and come back. You can't even see the ball. Let me turn around. Okay. So it's going to be like this, right? So the ball is underneath my big toe and my second toe and my third toe. My other foot is back. I'm just going to bend my knee and shift the weight onto that foot and then come on back off again. Right, bend the knee, shift onto the ball and back. I'm going to do that about maybe 5 times or so, on and back. Right. We need our big toes to be able to lift on up to help propel us through life, right? When we're walking, the big toe needs to be able to lift on up, and some of us lose that range. So we're trying to encourage it, right, as we're walking forward to stay lifted. I'll do that one more time. I know that's more than 5. Right, coming forward. And then release. And now what I'm going to try to do is get my toes. I'm going to try and grip the ball, and I'm going to try and pick it up off the floor. Right? That was for a millisecond. All right, try it again. Pick it up. You may not be able to pick it up. Oh, I thought he's cramping. I'm going to try that a couple more times, right? Try and scrunch it up and pick it up. It's dropping. I'll do that one more time. Right, scrunch and pick on up and release. Maybe give it another roll around. All right, let's do that on the other foot. Right, so with your big toe. So get the ball underneath your big toe. The rest of your foot, or as much as you can, is on the floor still. Right, your other foot steps back. I'm going to bend the knee and lean forward. Take the weight onto your foot and back it off. And again, go forward and back it off. All right, I went for about 5 on the other side. And I know I did a few more, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Take 2 more. Onto the ball and off. And onto the ball and off. And then the grand finale, you're going to try and pick the ball up with your toes. Oh, I've got it a little bit longer on this side. Again, it doesn't matter if you don't pick it up, but if you can pick it up, if this ball, because it's rubbing out and it's really soft, it's not that difficult to pick up. If you had a tennis ball, I think that would be pretty much impossible, but the attempt at trying to pick it up, right, is more than enough, right? Oh, there we go. Have a little roll around. And then release. Come on back to standing on 2 feet. Come back to noticing what they feel like. Where is the weight now, right? Have you made a change in how your feet are feeling, or how you're standing simply? Or if you're sitting, right, what's the weight like there on your feet? Right. Do they feel different? Do they feel the same? Right. Are you more even across your feet? Or have you gone the other way? Right. I'd love to know. So I'm going to leave myself open for some more questions and answers. So I'm just going to come in a little bit closer, get my mouse working again, put everybody back on the screen, and I invite any questions that you may have about anything that we have done, or any comments about how you're feeling. Did that work for you? Do you want to do it again? Would you do it tomorrow on your own at home, get a ball? Mina, you've unmuted yourself. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just want to sort of say that I have aching feet quite a lot, even though my job is sort of sitting down. But I find having sort of coming to these classes, they really, really help.
Oh, great.
The thing is, I find I can't sort of, to walk on the sort of toes is quite difficult. On the heels, it's not so bad.
Yeah, okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I find it the other way around. So okay. And it's all dependent on how, how we spend our lives, what we're doing, what we're walking on, how we're walking, what kind of shoes that we're wearing, how much we're sitting and all of that. So yeah, it's just a matter of practicing and playing with all the different variations, and you'll find that it gets easier over time. So thank you.
This is my first time and was great.
Oh, thank you, Erica. That's excellent.
Yes.
All right.
And on one foot, my toes are broken or sort of, I don't know. And they get swollen. So this is very good exercise. Thank you. I love it.
Okay. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see you again. All right.
Thank you. You will.
Okay. All right. Is there any other?
I'd like to get a video from it so I can do it during the week.
You absolutely can. Yes, all you need to do is email help@getsetup.io
Okay.
and request this class, and they'll send you a copy of it. It comes
Thank
through me pretty quickly, actually. So, yeah. All right. So I will just come back to, oh, there it is. It's on the screen there. Might just pop that up. I'm just going to go back to finishing with my housekeeping slides to finish off with. So if you do think of any questions while I'm going through these, please, I'll have some time when I'm done here. Yes, to answer those. Anyway, but thank you. Thank you so much for joining us in class today. We'd love it if you enjoyed your experience to share it. If you're on social media, all you need to do is use the hashtag or the @ symbol with the words "get set up" after them to help other people find us. That would be excellent. If you have any stories that you would like to share, please email the lovely Liz at getsetup.io, and she likes to blog about us. So send her the stories and she'll maybe write a blog about what's been going on for you and in our classes. Now, I have another class. For me, it's this afternoon. I know for Carol Sue, who was on the call today, it's 2 a.m. for her, and she says she'll be there. So I think that's mighty keen. That is a balance class. So again, it's a little bit focused on our feet. That'll be, yeah, it's what is it now? It's 8:30 for me. Anyway, it's about 8 hours away. That's when the class is. But have a look on the schedule if you are interested in that. It might be way too late for you, but I do a class pretty much every weekday from my end. And the one tomorrow is a core and stretch class, and that's on a couple of hours later than this one. Anyway, there are so many other fitness classes on Get Set Up that you'll absolutely find one to suit your needs. So have a look through the schedule. We've got yoga and qigong and tai chi and other chair movement classes, all sorts of things. So have a browse there and pick one that works for you. After I have signed off from here, I'll be sending you some very quick class notes with some ideas, some suggestions of other classes to do, and also some ideas to help recommend this class to a friend. You can click on a link to help you share it via Facebook or email or even WhatsApp these days. You can invite a friend when you register as well. So here on the screen, there's some ways that will come up either on your desktop or on your mobile. There's a little button that you need to press, and then you will be sent a link that you can copy and send off to a friend. So you can, again, maybe share the experiences, get together while you're doing the class or after, and you can have a bit of a chat about it. And maybe one of you remembers something that the other doesn't, and you can help each other work on some movements that you have learned. And it can be more fun as well to share those experiences. If it's not just with a friend, it can also be with your organization. We'd love it if you could help get set up out into the community a little bit more. I know here in Australia, we're trying to let everybody know that we exist. We're not so well known here. So if you have friends in Australia, let them know that we're here, and you can wave at each other from across the world, right? You could also host an interest group. If you wanted to be on this side of the camera, if you want to share something that you're passionate about, let us know, and we might be able to set you up and you can be teaching your own classes. Or conversely, if you have an idea for a class that you would like somebody else to teach you, suggest that. We're always open to new class ideas. And then finally, once again, you can request a recording of this session if you'd like to do it again. And for all of that, all you need to do is email help@getsetup.io. It's on the screen there. All right, that's it for my housekeeping, I do believe. I will just leave myself open for any more questions if you have thought about anything else in the meantime. Let me have a look what's in the chat room. Just thank you. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Mina. Yeah, Excellent. Oh, and your sister. Okay, you're both up. See, there we go. So you can chat about it after. That's lovely. Okay. All right. So if there is nothing else, I might then sign off. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see you all again soon. So take care and have a
Thanks,
wonderful
Madeline.
Thank you.
day. All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay.
Good night.